There's no way you're even remotely surprised that Steve Nash has been fired. But what's interesting about this is that, the Nets have always prided themselves recently with the move to Brooklyn on becoming a world-class organization. That's been their mission, right? They are the complete antithesis. They are a disaster. They are a joke. The Nets are a circus. And please don't tweet me, we're better than the Knicks. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the lack of leadership, the lack of conviction, the lack of direction. What in the world did you expect? So let me get this straight, Tiki. So last year, a year and a half ago, really 2 years ago, one of their stars says, we don't have a coach. We don't need a coach. Okay, that was the first warning flare. This wasn't going to end well. Then last year, not once, but twice, one of the best players in the world, aggressively communicates to ownership, you got to get rid of this guy. I want the GM gone, and I want the head coach gone. And yet you start the season with a head coach who, number one, is a terrible he's a really good guy. He's a terrible head coach. Watch the Nets once, and he is atrocious. Like, he doesn't do a damn thing. So you knew this was coming. You knew there'd be a mutiny. Players don't respect him. Didn't want to play for him. Why the hell did you start the season with Steve Nash?
I don't know. Maybe 7 games in. And look, there's other teams that are supposed to be really good, like the Miami Heat, who were also 2-5. But you just knew this was happening. It was a matter of time.
Joke.
Where before the Nets moved on, and they haven't. I mean, who's the interim that they even mentioned?
Probably going to be Jacques Vaughn. They haven't yet.
Yeah, it's likely to be Jacques Vaughn. He does everything anyways. So nobody wanted to acknowledge the enormous elephant in the room that Steve Nash just couldn't connect play call wise or XO wise or coaching wise with superstars. And it's weird because he was a superstar himself. Like, you would think that the respect would just transfer from his aura as a player into him as a coach. But I think this maybe tells us a thing or two about Steve Nash. That is, the times have moved past him because the player is different, significantly different now than from when he was playing. And two, he might not know that much about how to coach in 2022 or 2021, I should say, because last year was a disaster as well. Now, granted, that was with the stars and the turmoil and James Harden basically not playing and opting his way out, and then the injuries with Joe Harris and others. But this was a long time coming, and it should have happened this offseason. The Nets just wasted the first 2 weeks of the season.
So let me get this straight here. The star point guard who just recently retweeted something that is incredibly painful to the Jewish community will play probably 35 minutes tonight.
Yes.
And the head coach.
Just like he did last night. He played 41 last night.
Who did nothing wrong, although he's not a good coach, so I understand that, is fired.
I mean,
that seems consistent.
Doesn't it feel like it's kind of convenient or a distraction?
Of course it is. Easy way out.
Now, you read this two different.
But again, Nash was bad. I'm not trying to. I mean, he was.
He deserved to be fired.
Yeah, I agree.
He deserved to be fired.
But the timing is bad.
Conspicuous.
Yeah, that's a better word.
This is reported two different ways. Shams, as Huff reported it, said that Steve Nash and the Brooklyn Nets have agreed to part ways.
Okay.
Woj, who gives us all our bombs, said it more succinctly. Steve Nash is fired.
Yeah, and this is not, meat shoes. Shams is good too, even though Woj is the man. But Shams is very reputable. I believe he was fired. I mean, getting into the weeds on the report, who cares? He's gone. Yeah. And I don't believe it was mutual. I don't believe Steve Nash woke up today and said,
I want to move off. I want to leave here.
No, it was, hey, you got him. It's time. We got to save our season. It's not surprising, but it is certainly indicative of just the mess that the Nets are.
The only reason, and I'm just reading Joe Tsai's statement, which is in this press release that we just got. He's like, I've known Steve, blah, 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 during his time. He's not one to shy away from challenges. My admiration and respect for him grew over time as he brought hard work and positive attitude to our organization every day, even in periods of exceptional storms surrounding this team. So just how he positioned that, I could almost second guess myself and say Steve Nash told the Nets, I can't coach Kyrie Irving, and I don't want to deal with this firestorm that's coming because of what Kyrie Irving is espousing. I mean, I could see that. It's just not. It's not worth it. And
well, then maybe he should have been a little more vigilant in his statements,
maybe
pertaining to the matter.
I don't disagree, but
it would have been a good starting point.
There's many ways to read this.
Yeah,
look,
he's out.
We'll find out what it ultimately means in time. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Who's gonna be the interim? Likely Jacques Vaughn, as you mentioned, who does most of the work anyways. And we'll see if that has any kind of impact on how they play. I doubt it, because the issue with the Nets is they don't play defense. They're just lazy on that side of the ball. Score 38, 36, 28. That's how they win. If they have an off day from Kyrie or an off day from Kevin Durant, they're not winning because they don't play defense. That's what it comes down to. Simple as that.